to think that we are spinning an infinite space on a water ball rolling around the sun.
Is this guy breaking up, or is it me?
No, it must be you. I heard what he said. He was saying, oh, I actually couldn't reiterate what he said, but I mean, for some of us like me, I had to have somebody bring it up to me specifically that it is a possibility, because like most people are the type of people where it's like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And so if they don't think that it's broken, like if they think that the Earth is a ball, like who the fuck cares otherwise? Like why even look into the other options? Because like it ain't broken, so don't fix it. And they don't know. Well, I mean, not everyone here agrees, but in my opinion, they don't know what's broken. They don't know the ball's model is. Anyway,
from the little I heard, he was describing indoctrination versus education.
Yeah, we were all taught this is what we live on. There was no alternative options. We didn't think the entire system was lying to us when we were children, you know?
Yeah, I think cosmology is actually really important. There are a lot of people that are like, I got to go to work on Monday type of people, but there are a small percentage of people that they don't need to be told what flat Earth means. There's no way to put it into words. It changes you. It does something. You realize something on a deeper level.
Specifically, the word intuitive to me means that nobody has to suggest it to you. Nobody suggests that the Earth is flat until you hear it from somebody on the internet. Doesn't really.
Yeah, but that's.
I don't know.
Dude, no one would think the Earth's a ball unless someone told them that, right? Like the intuitive position is like just that the Earth isn't moving, all the stuff in the sky moves, and that the Earth's a plane. That's objectively just the instinctual response based on experience.
Sorry,
well, I want to ask Jesse a question real quick.
Well, I just disagree because nobody instinctually comes to that conclusion without like the internet trying to pump it down your throat.
Hey, how
about this? Dude, listen to what I said. The only way you can think it's a globe, the only way you can think it's a globe is because they put that idea into your mind. You would not have intuitively thought the Earth was a tilted, wobbling, spinning globe based on your actual observations and experience until someone told you at a very young age that that's where you live.
I strongly disagree. I think the implication of a globe comes from people making observations, not from someone trying to convince you. So if I were to go out and try to find out the shape of the Earth, I'd come to the conclusion it was a globe, just like everybody else did.
Jesse, can you hear me?
This guy's hopeless.
Jesse, can you hear me, dude? Hello? Mic check. Can anybody ask Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse, can you hear Dysaw, bro? Why are you trying to ad hom? It's just my position.
Jesse, can you hear Dysaw?
Hello? Jesse, can you hear me? Mic check.
What's up, dude?
Oh, you can hear me. Okay. I thought you couldn't hear me. You just kept chanting through me. But if you were on an island, what part of your natural senses would tell you that you're on a spinning globe if you've never encountered anybody? You're just on a stranded island and you had nobody to ever converse with. What part of your natural senses would tell you you're on a spinning ball flying through space?
Yeah, that small island is not going to tell me anything about the entirety of Earth. So it's not really a good position to base your view off of.
So what conclusion would you naturally make? I mean, if you can't get the full perspective, which none of us truly can, being that we're all attached to the surface of this thing, then what conclusions would you make if that's the limited perspective you had and no further information? What do your natural senses tell you?
My natural sense is on a remote island where I can't actually explore like the thousands of miles in the vastness of Earth. I'm not going to come to a conclusion of if it's a globe or flat. I'm not going to say that I can make that conclusion.
But he just doesn't give us, bro. There's no point.
Can I try?
Why are you trying?
Yeah,
he's intentionally trying to avoid the good faith acknowledgement. So.
Hold on 1 sec, though. Real quick, I just think the evidence that the idea that the base position is like motionless and flat, like the evidence for that, I would think is historically the fact that like the Babylonians who mapped the stars were flat earthers, right?
It's obviously
an question was for Jesse.
Okay. Well, my point is that like the base position of humanity for thousands of years was that the Earth was flat. So it's evidence that the base position for mankind would inevitably be flat and motionless, right?
Well, that's obvious, but we got some people that are just so, bound to their ball that, they're going to be dishonest at any.
Let me hear it, though. Jesse, could you not agree that?
Probably not.
Well, hold on. So you don't agree that the people who mapped the stars were flat earthers?
You're talking about ancient Babylon? They were some
Yeah,
of
the
the first
Bible.
people to presume that there was a celestial sphere.
Well, they were like, I mean, I'm just saying, according to Bowditch, they were flat earthers. According to academia, they were flat
Did they
earthers.
explore the entire Earth? Dude, the flat
No,
Earth
but
Oh my
position back
god,
then would have been
this
based off
guy,
of not even exploring the entire Earth.
so you disagree
dude.
with
You're-
Bowditch? Oh, so you disagree with Bowditch then?
He's just saying. He's just saying unless you have all
Hold
the
on, let him
information,
answer,
you
man.
can't make a
Let him answer.
conclusion. So it's
Yeah,
just
no, I'm asking questions. Let him answer. Hold on, like you know what I mean. So like, Jesse, all I'm trying to say is that like I think even if you're into the spherical side of things, bro, all I'm trying to say is that the base proposition, even according to academia, is that it's flat and motionless. In fact, it wasn't until allegedly Pythagoras they burned him at the stake. So like I'm just saying that the base could all agree, it's right or wrong or indifferent. We could all agree that the modern position is that the people who mapped the stars were flat earthers, and that could lead one to believe that the base position of humanity is flat and motionless, right?
Well, that's cool until you realize that there's counter rotation in the south and two celestial
That's why I
poles,
said
and
right,
there's
wrong,
no
or
way to
indifferent.
explain. Why are
Right,
you
wrong, or
interrupting, dude?
indifferent.
Why are you
Hold
interrupting,
on.
dude? There's no way. Hold on, dude. There's no way to explain that observation on a flat plane for 1,000 years. You guys are not there yet. That's a long time, dude.
Like if he made it very clear, he isn't going to have a good faith interaction about the subjects. So then just let him be, bro. Like someone that denies that the intuitive default position is that the Earth is stationary and a plane, you just let it go. Like that means that they're not enacting in good faith. It's simple.
Is anything truly static and at rest in the universe? What's it?
No, like the smallest molecular components that comprise it. No. What does that have to do with actually spinning and flying through space?
There you go. There you go.
They,
Everything appears to be in motion that surrounds us. The only anomalous object in the universe that is stationary is Earth, only because you presume so, because you have yet to explore the entire Earth.
oh, tell me what exploring the entire Earth does to prove it's moving.
Well, you're going to come across the South Celestial Pole
And
and
that's
the
going to
counter
prove the Earth is
rotation
moving.
below the equator.
That proves
Well,
the
there's a
Earth is
great way to
moving.
explain that. Yeah, there's a great way to explain that observation. And I'm yet to hear one using a flat plane.
So then you accept geocentricity.
In some weird way, a little bit, yeah.
Apparently, if you look at stuff moving in the sky, it proves that you're moving. You just got to explore the Earth and see more stuff moving in the sky.
Yeah,
That's just,
apparently seeing stuff moving in the sky means you're not moving. Same goes for you.
yeah,
Hey,
dude. If you see something else moving, it isn't proof that you're moving and it's not moving. It's just stupid.
Jesse, have you ever been to Aruba or Jamaica?
Ooh, I want to take you.
I'm just thinking about this. Like, I have to, like, if I've never been to Aruba, right, I have to believe it exists, right? Like, it's like technically a belief of mine, right? Can you admit that? That if you haven't been somewhere, you have to believe it exists?
Come on, pretty.
Well,
So
how do we explain? How do we explain the stars orbiting east toward the east?
Why is
You
that
want like a
important?
Bible verse or something? Like what?
Uh, Scientific.
Is
Yeah,
it?
but
Does it have to do with
why
the
is it
bending of
important?
space and time? Is that why?
Yeah,
Well, I'm just speaking by just observation.
they're moving
By
through
just
a background medium called the ether.
and that makes them process towards eastward.
Could be.
That song's stuck in my head now.
Could be. That's why I asked for the scientific explanation.
So when you look into the scientific explanation of the mainstream academia, there's so many holes in it, you cannot be intellectually honest with yourself and continue to believe it.
Okay. Well, so then let's compare that to the observation. Do the stars orbit toward the east?
Yeah, they do. They process to the east, right?
Okay.
And the you know what I mean. So, and we can agree that the star, and that would be sidereal, whatever, change. But
exactly.
But at the same time, and we know why, for instance, the prograde motion of the moon and all that kind of stuff, and why you have eclipses, and we're familiar with all that. You know what I mean? The idea, an alternative explanation could be dealt with, let's say through magnetics or through electromagnetics. There's all kinds of and what's interesting with that stuff is it can be replicated. You know what I mean? So that's more interesting and seems more accurate than something like Kepler's theory about and tying it into what we think is gravity or think of as gravity, which really, if you're new to this, our argument is not with gravity. Our argument is with gravitation. And that's where the difference happens. We all agree that gravity exists,
Don't speak for
But
me, bro. I don't think gravity exists.
What?
I don't deny the phenomena of things falling.
Well,
but
I mean,
gravity is not a.
All right, man. Well, no. My point is that things go down, right? And you could base that either on and what is it's etymologically, it comes from a term called gravitas, which just means weight. Things have weight. So therefore, gravity exists, at least the way I look at it. Anyway, that's not necessarily proven on a mass scale. What is proven is buoyancy and density and how things separate equally. And maybe they're it makes sense. Maybe there's something above us that's less dense, i.e., why helium goes up, and
Isn't
there's
that
all
like the
kinds of other
old flat Earth
alternative
argument?
explanations, bro.
Pretty sure that's like the old 2016 FER.
It still holds true. What's wrong with that?
I mean, it kind of falls short, does it not?
Well, I mean, if someone's coming from the globe and they're asking for an alternative, whatever, that's something that could be introduced, right? Because the brother seems to be on the globe and he's asking, well, how does it work if the stars go east? You know what I mean? I'm saying there's something to do with electromagnetism, maybe, as an alternative
The current
explanation.
model says that everything, all the way down to highly precise physical measurements, is going to show that the Earth is stationary and that it's just an illusion. For someone to argue that it isn't the default position, it's just wrong and disingenuous.
Yeah, I didn't want that point to get missed whenever Jesse didn't acknowledge that it was the intuitive state that we're motionless, flat plane. Then he said, the stars move. How do you explain that?
That was another guy.
I disagree
guy.
because I think the real default position is that you don't know, and then you go investigate whatever hypothesis you can. When you do that,
what is the intuitive
everybody that has
base?
ever navigated more than 1,000 miles thinks that. Do I got to do that?
That is such
Jesse, your default position is a fallacy. It comes from ignorance, dude. What you're saying that if we don't have the full perspective, we can't make any conclusions, and that's simply not true. You can infer things without having the entirety or the totality of the perspective. So, it's just not an.
It's like saying I can infer about the weather outside when I'm inside.
Again, the default position is that the Earth is stationary. The current model says that even if you try to measure it, time is going to slow down and trick you into thinking that the Earth is not moving. Dude, be an adult and believe your beliefs. If you have to sugarcoat and change your own belief to claim it, then something is not adding up.
Yeah, also, the evidence.
Let's put the random ad hom, dude. Can't you just have the conversation? What are you saying? Because
adults
have actually circumnavigated the globe already. Why don't you acknowledge the fact that for hundreds of years people have been navigating the South, and the distances represent a globe. So
Hey,
why don't
what
you
was
be an
the
adult and address that?
what was the add-on, Jesse?
All you got is that, Holmes, dude. You try to say I'm not an adult.
I didn't see. I didn't add hom any. This is just a fact that if you believe the mainstream model, that's cool or whatever. What it says is that all measurements, all tests, all experiments, all evidence on the Earth is going to show that the Earth is stationary, but that time slows down and distances shrink but look like they're the same size to create the illusion that tricks you into thinking you're stationary. That is a still man of the model. So if you're claiming that model's true, that's what you believe.
So what is bracing the Earth? How is something so fixed and non-moving?
You see how you're not acknowledging the point that I
Everything
just
we
made?
observe moves. Everything is in a phase. Everything is changing and in motion, except the Earth. So what keeps the Earth static?
You see how you're not actually addressing what I said?
It's just what I gotta go to because you're saying that Earth isn't moving. How does that happen? Everything appears to be moving in the universe except Earth. How is that?
Okay,
It's super anomalous.
okay, so Jesse, since you want to change topics, you're giving concession to the model then of what the model says, right? Because Witsit did steelman the model
I
properly,
am not changing topic.
right? Because that's what it means when you're switching over to a new topic, that you're giving concession on the last topic.
I don't know. Were you paying attention, dude? You're saying that the default position is that it's stationary, but you haven't tested anything yet, so it's not really the intuitive default position. The default position is that you don't know.
Tested what?
Then all the people around the world that realized they didn't know and went to investigate the claim, they came to the conclusion that it's moving.
What
But
do
that
our
isn't what
scientists?
happened at all. That isn't what happened at all. And so when you do go and test it, it keeps on showing that the Earth is stationary. Well, objectively, in your own paradigm. So much so they had to keep changing the story to explain why it always appears that the Earth is stationary, even with tests. Hey, look at Mimi.
Yeah, the only way they
I don't know.
got
You got electric ring
the only
gyros.
Jesse,
They show rotation.
the only way you got to the paradigm was with mathematics and relativity. You didn't get to that paradigm from observation. When they observed things, they were like, "Whoa, the Earth can't be moving around the sun." And then Einstein's like, "Hold on, I got a mathematical formula that we can transform the stationariness to movement." It wasn't observed.
I just think it's incomprehensible that, like, where is flat Earth in relation to like the universe? Is it the
You're
floor?
standing
What
on it.
is supporting or bracing it to make it stationary? I don't understand. I really don't.
What is
You want me to
causing
presume it's
space and
stationary,
time?
but it doesn't make sense how it could be.
What's causing space and time to bend, Jesse?
You just gotta hold him on the
Now, just
point, though,
changing the
man.
topic.
Like, just try not to talk about flat for a second. Can you understand that we're talking about two different things? Either it's moving or it's not moving. Either it's curving or it's not curving. And every time that I make the point to you about it moving, you start talking about it being flat or exploring it and seeing things move different in the South. None of that has to do with moving. And again, we experience the Earth to be stationary. We experience this in physics. We have to use what's called a lab frame. When we went and developed specific tests to see if the Earth was in fact moving, it kept showing that it wasn't moving. Okay. So the mainstream model in 2024 says no matter what test you do on the Earth, it's going to appear as though the Earth is stationary. It's just an illusion
because you're
because time slows down and tricks you into thinking that.
because you're in the same reference frame as Earth moving. That's why they
Okay.
say
So,
that you can't detect it.
right. I understand their exam. Trust me. I know their explanation very well. But my point is that their explanation is intrinsically acknowledging that the default empirical position is that we're not moving. That's what their answer is. In fact, it's a
That's
big elaborate
chanting, dude.
answer
Every
as to
time you
why
say
that.
it, you got to respect that people are going to disagree that that's the default position because you're not doing any tests yet. To
Oh
just
my God.
stand there with your head in the sand and say, "Oh, it's definitely not moving," you have no base.
Yeah, we do. All measurements ever made. So Michelson, Morley, let's do Aries failure. Aries failure. So that the Earth is not moving. So when we go into the observation, when we go into the observation, assuming that the Earth is moving, we say that's the cause of stellar aberration. You have to assume it in the first place to even claim that, just affirm the consequence. So they're like, okay, look, the telescope has to be tilted at an angle to see the star, right? Because they're like, it's like the starlight's coming down to the Earth straight down, as if rain was coming straight down from a cloud. But if you started running through the rain, it would look like the rain's coming in at you at an angle. It's just an apparent angle or deflection, right? Because really it's going straight down, but because you're running through it, it looks like it's coming at an angle. They say that's what's happening with the starlight. Okay. And that it's because the Earth is moving underneath the starlight, making it look like it comes at an angle. Right? We all get that?
Yep.
All right, explain what
I'm
electric
trying to get
ring
my daughter
gyros
to
are
go
picking
down
up.
I'm trying to get my daughter to go down this line.
Dude, yeah, what? Do that then. All I'm saying, okay, you got electric ring gyros. What's causing that? What's causing the precession of that?
Yeah, basically all we're saying is that we're looking at things like in a different lens. Like for instance, like why do you believe in the Big Bang?
Actually, I don't.
Would you ask about gyros?
Wait. You see what's going on? Like, what does the gyro have to do with anything, man? Like, okay, you said there were no tests. I guess I'm confused. If you truly believe it, that's cool, and I don't care. But it seems as though you don't truly believe it, and I find that that's the case with most people. Like when it really comes down to what the claim truly is, like they just kind of refuse to accept it. They like block it out of their mind. They believe the conclusion without truly integrating and believing all that comes with it, and that's super weird, right? It's like you're intuitively fighting it. Your consciousness is fighting it. Like you intuitively don't think it makes any sense. So you either say, I'm making it up or that can't be true, or you deflect away from it. And I just find that to be
That's a
weird.
good point. That's a good point. I've heard a lot of Glovers do that recently. Even Jesse did that yesterday, and it's like all of a sudden cog disc kicks in. But there was like, who was it? That Professor John guy that came in here, and we were getting down to the brass tacks as to like how space and time could bend and what space is, and he disagreed with a lot of the mainstream proposition and said all that stuff just doesn't make any sense, but he wholeheartedly still accepts the model in entirety, which is just bizarre to me. It's like, how could you be a professor and say these things and still hold to the model? It's insane to believe.
Yeah, it is.
Because the model has more explanatory power. That's why.
No, I think what it comes down to, it all comes down to they can't accept that there's a lie on such a mass level, right? On such a extraordinary level, we can't be lied to because then their worldview is completely shattered.
Yeah, I think if
All right, I'm agreeing you. I'm agreeing you that Earth is stationary. So how do you explain the two celestial poles and counter rotation in the south? You just can't. See, the
yeah,
explanatory power of the globe when it comes to the observed phenomena is why so many physicists aren't willing to just ditch it for planar
It's all
or
based on
stationary Earth, stationary
presuppositions.
geocentric Earth.
It's all based on presuppositions, bro, when you look into it.
Yeah, why are these people that know the field of study so well not willing to abandon the globe model? It's because
I
it
know,
holds
I know, I
explanatory
know
power
people that
better
do.
than the flat
I
Earth.
know people that have. I literally know people that have. I'm about to do
Hearsay.
a show with a PhD physicist from Harvard who's a flat earther.
Can't wait.
So yeah, but the thing is, you'll just act like it doesn't happen, or he doesn't count, or you know,
there's many people that hold the same sentiment. Until Flat Earth can explain what we observe, you got to respect their position. You can't act like that they're hopeless and not being an adult and all the things you like to say.
All right. So whenever the globe, we know you don't know anyone. Stop lying. Someone like, okay, cool. Like, what a weirdo. So this is what I'm saying. So when the globe can't explain stuff, that's okay though. Like I'm just gonna start
I
pointing at
don't
the
think
double
there's
standard.
anything the globe can't explain. Earth
Okay.
is a globe
Well,
and it explains all phenomena.
okay. So why is the magnetic field not symmetrical on the globe? Why is the north and south magnetic poles not aligned?
Because Earth is not exactly a symmetrical object.
No, it's way less symmetrical than the slight oblateness that's claimed.
Wait, so how is Earth not a completely symmetrical object because it's oblate? You mean?
Bruh.
Yeah,
So
they claim it's like
well,
it's like an incredibly small percentage bigger on the bottom. It's like literally a complete irrelevant point.
Yeah, the
Literally
northern
irrelevant.
hemisphere is symmetrical to the southern hemisphere, right? Okay.
using simple logic though, um, anyone would be able to tell that centrifugal force and gravity can't exist at the same time.
It seems like gravity would be an uneven distribution if, their claim is Earth being a ball due to gravity.
Well, see, here's the thing: if they were both existing at the same time, they would have to be they would have to have an equal force because either it's going to continue expanding and get more and more oblate, or it's going to be pulled in by gravity. So you can tell they're equal forces. And if that's the case, how is there gravity? Everything should be weightless in that case. I hope that makes sense, but just using logic, the Earth can't be oblate. So
You're saying if they're equal and balanced out, then things should be weightless due to the fact that gravity's been overridden and nullified.
no, it's not overridden. It's matched by centrifugal force.
Well,
Is what they
yeah,
would have to
I said
say.
no.
That's what they would have to say. Either centrifugal force is going to be the stronger one, and so everything is going to be expanding slowly, or gravity is going to be the stronger one, and everything's going to be pulling in slowly. But that's not happening, which means they're equal forces, and so therefore, things would logically be weightless, but they're not, and so we know that the Earth could not be oblate. The only shapes it could be are a perfect sphere or flat.
I just want to bring it back to the point that nothing in the universe is observed to be truly static and motionless.
Yeah, everything has a vibrational frequency to it that exists phenomenally. So what's your point?
Except Earth? Are you saying that Earth is like the exception?
Earth does have a vibrational frequency to it. You ever heard of the Schumann frequency?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so there's your answer.
One question regarding the sphere versus spheroid or ellipsoid. Critical Think did some weight measurements, and his scales showed that in Antarctica stuff is heavier, and as closer you get to the equator, it gets lighter. How do you explain these?